Let me ask the Ghanaians, how many of you know more than 3 regions? More than 3 regions. Yeah, a lot of Ghanaians don't know the rest of the country. I mean, yes, I can tell you, if I ask you Savannah region, how many of you know Savannah region? I'm going to have a problem. But I want you to know your country first before you start exploring other countries.
So you realize that in summer or during the Easter break, like Val's Day, people can just go to Dubai, have a whole package for like $1,500 or $1,600, ticket, package, hotel, visa, and everything. But that same money, right? He can't stay a week in Accra or in Ghana.
If I am traveling for Christmas with a family of 4, and the IADC charge is $100 per person return, that's already a $400 on top of my ticket.
Are you assuring me that Terminal 2 will be so cool like Terminal 3? Oh, what do you think?
Yes.
It should be so cool like Terminal 3, otherwise you won't go.
Yanka asem go Dubai, yanka asem go Singapore, yanka asem go China. Na New York can say charity begins at home. Who baby a ufi. Into the say uko Dubai ba kwa. Omemu haso visit toys attraction me nsa. Ne dey no. 1 for 3. Into the uko Dubai ba ko bia oba ko every gardens. Ko cinema waterfall ko I show speed massage use ko jibi. Uwia no ko Safari Valley.
As much as it's a very formal meeting, we know how we do this. Informally, how we talk about things. So in 2017, what we realized was that there wasn't a lot of discussions and collaborations between airline operators and the policymakers. So I remember at the time, the then Minister for Transport, Aviation at the time, Cecilia Dapa said, then Dominic, what are you doing? Set up something like that, let's do it. We set up the meeting, and then a day to the event, I went to him and said, Madam, I don't have enough money to do this. You know what she said? Dominic, I'm family home. What's about? You know how she talks. He said, I don't care how you get it done. Just get it done. Find the money and do it. So over the years, yes, I gladly sponsored it. We had the first edition in 2017, 2018 we did, 2019 we did. Then COVID came, we took a break a little. The point is, what's my business in this? Airline business is my business. It is my interest for airlines to do well and prosper. When you do well and prosper, that's when I come to you with a proposal and say, Aviation Ghana says, sponsor this. That's why you give me money. If you are not doing well, I will also not do well. So it's my interest to ensure that airlines and policymakers collaborate, talk a lot, solve issues, and then we can have a very vibrant aviation sector. Indeed, over the last few years, there are certain key milestones that this event has helped us achieve. Remember in 2016, when government decided to introduce VAT on domestic airfares, we had 5 airlines. We went to Parliament and did a presentation to Parliament and told them, if this is not reversed, airlines will go down. We were not prophets of doom, but it happened. Now we are left with what, 2? At the time we had Fly 540, Starbow, Aska Airlines, and 2 others. There were 5 of them in all. And now we are left with Amtrak, and now we are left with 2. Fortunately, this event, the first event we did in 2017, a lot of issues around that came up. The minister was in attendance. Her 2 deputies were here. We discussed the issues, and by the next budget, they revoked or repealed the VAT on domestic airfares in 2017. One other issue that we worked closely also on is taxes on spare parts when it comes to domestic airlines. They've complained for years and years and years. And I remember in 2018, when we had a meeting, then Deputy Minister Ochudakon said, they'll have a look at it and do something about it. I know now they've found a way to regularize it so that domestic airlines don't necessarily pay taxes on spare parts they import. So that also is something that we also did greatly with. Then in 2021-22, Airport company is not here yet. Okay. Freeman, you are here. Airport company. Okay. So you remember when the CA said they were going to bill airlines differently from what airport company has already collected in APSA? And they threatened that if you don't pay, we'll cut off our services to you. So Aviation Ghana took up the matter. We were the lobbyists supposed to help solve this problem. We got the Parliamentary Select Committee involved, held a meeting in Parliament. They brought the minister into the meeting, and we were able to solve that issue. Because if it has been paid to airport company, and they are supposed to remit a part to CA, and they haven't done that, airlines shouldn't suffer for it. All these I'm talking about is to tell you that, look, I'm in the business of promoting airlines, making sure that airlines do well, so that together we can all build a sustainable aviation sector.
Over the past year, Ghana has solidified its position as a primary gateway to West Africa, a feat through a delicate balance of resilient airline operations and supportive government policy. The Board of Airline Representatives is proud of the unwavering support our members have provided to the Ghana economy. We celebrate the arrival of new partners who recognize Ghana's potential. We are particularly delighted to note that IBOMEA recently celebrated 1 year of successful regional operations into Ghana. Their commitment to the Lagos-Accra route has provided much needed capacity. We also warmly welcome United Nigeria and Air Tanzania, whose inaugural flight on January 28 this year marks a new chapter in East-West connectivity. Established partners are also doubling down with increased frequencies from Turkish Airlines and Delta Airlines, further strengthening our global links. We must acknowledge the proactive steps taken by the government to modernize our sector. We applaud the Ministry of Transport and Ghana Civil Aviation Authority for the recent rollout of API PNR system. This technology is a critical step in aligning Ghana with international security standards, allowing for more efficient border management and enhancing the safety of our skies. Combined with the Air Navigation Services Complex, these investments have provided a high-tech foundation airlines need to operate safely. However, sustainable growth requires us to be honest about the hurdles ahead. As of 1st February 2026, a new API PNR fee of $18 on a return ticket was introduced. Furthermore, we are deeply concerned by the upcoming AIDC charge of $100 on return ticket scheduled for 1st of April 2026, bearing in mind that more than 70% of our traffic is both in and outbound. These new fees will bring the total international departure charges to $173 for one-way tickets and $243 for return, catapulting Ghana to top 10 most expensive countries globally for passenger charges. In Africa, Ghana is set to leapfrog from 9th to 3rd place, trailing only Gabon and Sierra Leone. These increases run contrary to the December 2025 ECOWAS mandate to reduce regional passenger charges by 25% by 2026 to stimulate growth. It is important to note that the average global airport charges on a return trip is between $30 and $34. The average for Africa is $68, while West Africa, which is the highest, is $110.
This gathering is both timely and important as it brings together industry operators and policymakers to strengthen collaboration and ensure the continued growth and sustainability of Ghana's aviation sector. Meaningful and open dialogue remains essential in identifying challenges, which we have, shaping forward-looking policies, and developing innovative solutions that serve the interests of all stakeholders and our customers, so to speak, passengers. I would like to commend Aviation Ghana for its consistent dedication since 2017 in creating platforms such as this, platforms that promote engagement, alignment, and collective progress within our industry. By working together, we can advance our shared vision of a stronger, more resilient, and dynamic aviation landscape for Ghana. On behalf of the AOC members, thank you all for your presence and commitment. God bless us all.
Via Zoom. His name is Kamil Al-Alwadi. Let's put our hands together whilst we see his speech delivered.
It is a pleasure to address you today at the Aviation Ghana Stakeholders Meeting. And my thanks goes to Mr. Dominique Ando for the kind invitation. Let me begin by extending my warmest congratulations to Reverend Stephen Wilfred Arthur on his appointment as Director General of the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority. His long-standing regulatory leadership places Ghana's aviation sector in very capable hands. Turning to the global and regional picture, 2025 was a record year for air travel demand. Global passenger traffic rose by 5.3%, and load factors reached an unprecedented 83.6%, the highest on record. In Africa, airlines recorded 7.8% annual passenger demand growth, with capacity up by 6.5% and load factors reaching 74.9%, a record high for the continent, even though it remains the lowest among global regions. Yet, despite robust demand, structural challenges persist across the region. High operating costs, infrastructure inefficiencies, and weak connectivity continue to constrain Africa's full aviation potential. At the same time, airlines worldwide face over $11 billion in additional costs due to supply chain constraints, including delayed aircraft deliveries and maintenance backlogs. This combination of strong demand but rising operational pressures underscores why sound aviation policy in Ghana matters today more than ever. A major policy area requiring urgent attention is taxes and charges. West Africa has some of the highest taxes, fees, and charges compared with the rest of Africa and globally. These high charges hamper demand and restrict competition. Recognizing this, ECOWAS has rightly mandated the elimination of air transport taxes and a 25% reduction in passenger and security charges from January 2026. However, recent measures in Ghana, including the increase in airport passenger service charges for international travel from 5 to 100 Ghanaian cedi, and the introduction of a $9 API fee, makes travel more expensive and undermine competitiveness. It is therefore vital that Ghana aligns with ICAO's principles of transparency, cost relatedness, and non-discrimination in determining charges. I strongly encourage full implementation of the ECOWAS Supplementary Act to ensure Ghana maintains a cost environment that supports growth instead of damaging growth. A competitive and cost-effective operating environment is also essential to strengthening connectivity. Ghana has demonstrated leadership by being an early signatory to SATM and committing to remove restrictive bilateral provisions that limited airline operations. But connectivity will only expand if the policy and cost environment encourages airlines to add capacity. To grow ACRA's hub role, enhance domestic and regional networks, support tourism, and eventually enable a successful national airline, Ghana must ensure its charges and regulatory frameworks Support route development rather than discourage it. Better connectivity means more jobs, more trade, more investment, and greater mobility and larger contribution to Ghana's GDP. It is one of the most powerful levers Ghana has to secure long-term economic benefits from aviation. By aligning policy, charges, and regulatory practices with international standards, Ghana can enhance its connectivity and strengthen its position as a leading aviation hub in West Africa.
If you look at Ghana's aviation industry, the regulations and the policies, do you think they are aligned with global best practices, especially when it comes to ICAO, IATA, and AFCAC?
Thank you very much, Dominic. I believe that over the years, we have remained very consistent as a state, being a signatory to the Chicago Convention. And so all the protocols, all the standards that are required of us, especially where we are required to domesticate them, we have done so accordingly. And so we are very much aligned with best industry practices and also respecting the legal framework that governs the air transport industry as a whole. Because whatever it is, we are not an island. We cannot do things on our own because the journey may not even start from here. If, let's say, KLM, British Airways, Ibom Air, they don't start their typical journeys from Ghana. And so we are very much in sync, not just with the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, but all other conventions and all other recommendations, even from the perspective of the African Civil Aviation Commission. We do endorse and we are actually enforcing the necessary state-of-the-art policies and what have you, including also being a proud member and also fulfilling what is required under the single African air transport market. And so we are wholly, fully liberalized, and we are making sure that we are adding our efforts to making Ghana more connected to Africa and the entire world. Thank you.
In terms of our bilateral air service agreements we have, do you think as they stand now, they are good enough to ensure that Ghana remains very connected? Or you think some of them we need to review them or probably extend them to ensure that Ghana remains really connected and the hub concept comes into fruition?
In terms of the bilateral air service agreement, it is a two-way or it is a dual requirement, but we have most of our bilateral air service agreements, supporting connectivity, supporting the cause of liberalization. So in cases where, for instance, between us and let's say Togo, as we speak, our bilateral air service agreement is well aligned with a template that was given out there by the African Civil Aviation Commission. And so whenever a state sees that, for instance, they need more flight frequencies to Accra, we do engage them and amend the bilateral agreement so as to get us more connected or increase the frequency, or if there are any clauses or provisions in the existing that needs to be amended, we are very much akin to making those amendments whenever there's a need so to do. So there's a lot of flexibility and also...
All right. We want to be aviation hub in Ghana, in West Africa, but we see competition from Senegal. We see what Askai is doing with Togo. Madam Yvonne, how do we consolidate the gains if we really want to be the aviation hub in West Africa? What needs to be done?
Thank you, Dominic. And so we often talk about Ghana becoming the aviation hub. There are lots of things that we have to do. There's a lot of work ahead of us if we really want to have Ghana as the aviation hub. Number one is connectivity in the region. You travel through intra-region, meaning inside of Africa. And sometimes the connectivity issues can take you up to 24 hours to get from one African country to the other. This is something that we necessarily have to look at. Have more flight options for our passengers, more connections stemming from Ghana. And then also to make Ghana an attractive destination where travelers would want to come through. So not only are they stopping here, but transiting through the country. When you look at places like Addis Ababa, it's a transit hub. There's a lot of connections going out of Ethiopia to everywhere in the world. And so if we want to make Ghana a hub in the African region, we have to open up our connectivity, not only in intra-region, but domestically. We also have work to do. We don't have connections from Kumasi to Tamale, for instance, or from Tamale to Wa, or from Sunyani to Kumasi, etc. So these are all things that we have to work on if we need to make Ghana a hub.
Reverend and Madam, how did the news of Emirates partnering Air Peace Nigeria and spreading its wings within West Africa come to you? It's like a direct competition to you.
We don't see it as a direct competition because no one single airport or aerodrome can carry it all. So I believe that it is good news. Instead of it looking as a threat, look at it from the perspective of a healthy competition. Because whenever you embrace healthy competition, you then also begin to have the appetite to do better. Because there are times that you could think that you are at your very best until you get to know that your best is someone's beginning point. And so it is a challenge to see what else can we also do. Not to outpace them, but also to do far more than we are currently doing. And I believe that one of the advantages that or issues that it brings on board, and sorry if I'm jumping the gun, that it tells you that Emirates just did not support or get into this arrangement just for the face value of it. But they will be driving in other very good factors. You know, it tells you about the brand. It tells you how well that airline is doing. And that is why all of us cannot wait for our national air carrier soon to come. Thank you.
The way you say soon to come, when should we expect it?
Soon. Soon is still soon. Thank you.
By close of year, perhaps.
Soon is still soon. Thank you.
But we were told by a minister that the document actually is with cabinet for approval. Is that the case?
It is the case, okay. But further discussions, further pronouncements, I would not want to lose my job here, but my political supervisors and superiors, in their wisdom at the right time, will give further and better details. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. But we expect that it will be opened for bidding. I mean, once the document is completed, people are also open to probably sending in their proposals to partner government.
No, His Excellency the President, right from day one, has always made it clear that it will be a very transparent, something that will inure to the benefit of the industry and the public at large. And so it's very open, very competitive, and we'll know that it will be value for the time, value for the resources. And so there are no already hidden decisions or closed doors. The doors will still be open. If you want us to open the windows, we'll also add the windows to make it more transparent. Thank you.
So airline managers here, the doors and windows are all open. So just prepare your proposals, and once it's announced, you can seek to partner government for it. Professor Kobi-Mensah, the aviation policies that we have in the country, do you think they are well integrated into tourism marketing and investment promotion? Sheila is here from JIPC. In the country, do you think it's well integrated?
I started my work with C2MNJ. I don't know how many of you know C2MNJ. Yeah, those days in 1999, as a very young, person, as a marketing officer, I remember there was a time that Marian said that we should go to South Africa. And at the time, the husband, Dr. Prempe & Co., had brought South Africa Airways to the country in terms of they were handling the ground work. I suppose I never heard Ethiopian Airways. I never heard Kenyan Airways. I never heard so many other African airlines. But I knew South Africa Airlines was here. So which means that there's a lot that Ghana has done in terms of aviation policy that has expanded our appeal. And of course, regionally, it looks like the countries are working hard to establish our own airlines. And that would speak to the connectivity of the Ghanaian in the aviation sector in terms of policy with the wider global policy. So looking at this alignment, certainly it wouldn't have actually grown, or we haven't actually grown to that level if we hadn't really aligned with the global best practices. I also know that from a tourism perspective, say that someone has 2 weeks or 1 week holiday from England, and the person wants to tour Ghana. Now, this individual has a very limited time to spend in the country. Those days, you have to actually travel to Kumasi by road alone. And this person has just about 3 days or 4 days to spend in Ghana. You can imagine whether Ghana will be the first choice or not. It's not going to be, because connectivity from Accra to Kumasi only by road. Connectivity from Takoradi to from Accra to Takoradi only by road. So it means that some of our hotspots in terms of tourism are not accessible by the faster means of travel. What does that mean? It gives us a very limited appeal globally in terms of choices, tourism choices. Today, when the tourists are here, we can decide to fly them to Kumasi quickly, faster than ever before. When the tourists are here, we can send them to Takoradi and they can connect to Cape Coast easily, all right? So in as much as probably we haven't extensively connected, as Yvonne was talking about, we have actually done something. And I'm sure, very sure, that very soon we're going to see the interconnectivity much more enhanced, deeper, and much more faster. So on that grounds, it had really facilitated tourism. Now, I'll give you another dimension of how our policies are actually facilitating tourism. If you look at modern tourism growth, it's actually propelled by two connectivities, air connectivity, but of course, internet connectivity as well. Now, what is the most dominant thing that a tourist do when they arrive at a country? They take photos, they will post it, etc. My time when we were growing up, you have to actually write a postcard. How many of you know postcard? You have to write a postcard and send to your people, your parents, and say, I have arrived safely. Sometimes you go back to your country and the postcard is not there because it's a snail mail, isn't it? Today, certainly they can take a photo at the airport, send, post, and immediately the family know or the friends know that they have arrived safely. It has increased the internet connectivity, etc., has actually increased our standing in terms of safety and security, in terms of people's confidence in the country. And so if the airport company gives you a free Wi-Fi, which you all do, all right, it means that when you get in, you can actually take a photo and send. Clearly, it has actually improved our standing in terms of people's confidence in that. But what I want to see is a lot more presence of Ghana at the airport. We have to have whether Akwaba or Obake or very big, so that when they take the selfies, we can activate Ghana. Our presence in terms of the Ghanaian cultural representation or tourism representation at the airport is very minimal. So maybe Yvonne, I will ask you if you can do a lot more broader, ambitious, cultural or tourism presence at the airport. That would be good for us, and that can enhance our tourism appeal. Thank you so much.
So from what you said, I'll just quickly touch on Yvonne. The intra-regional flight, for instance, Accra, Tamale, Kumasi, Tamale flight, is there an interest from some people wanting to do that? Actually, I think you and Reverend, regulator will be best pleased to see it, and then you can tell us whether you have some requests for air slots.
Currently, as we speak, there are no requests but they will not even have to bother with the request because it will be granted because we want to open up and we want to connect the cities, the tourism sites, and what have you. And so we are actually looking forward because we have made, together with the Ghana Airports Company Limited, very important investment, not only in terms of the aerodrome or the physical, but also we have positioned human resources. So it will interest you to know that as we speak, we have engineers and air traffic controllers even in Ho Airport, even though there are no scheduled commercial flight operations, but they are there so that whenever there is a call, I mean, in emergency or what have you, we are now going to send them over there, but they are stationed there. And maintaining the equipment also comes at a reasonable cost. And so we can't wait for the airlines to start doing these intra-city flights as we are expecting them to do. Thank you.
How many of you, let me ask the Ghanaians, how many of you know more than 3 regions? More than 3 regions.
Prof, would you want me to answer that?
Yeah, a lot of Ghanaians don't know the rest of the country. I mean, I can tell you, if I ask you Savannah region, how many of you know Savannah region? I'm going to have a problem. But I want you to know your country first before you start exploring other countries.
No.
Sylvia.
From what Prof is saying, that instead of traveling to Dubai,
yes,
you want them to remain here.
To know Ghana more.
To know Ghana
Not
more.
to remain here, but to know Ghana more.
You see, at the end of the day, those who've been employed by Emirates, if we have less passengers, the travel agents are not going to get business.
I agree.
And the airlines, we are not going to get business.
Yeah.
And GACL, CA are not going to get business.
Yes.
The more we fly, the more money that comes in.
No doubt.
So let them know here. You
Yeah.
can know Ghana for a month,
Yeah.
and then the rest travel
I
to
agree with you.
Dubai.
If you can do that for me, I will be happy. You know, if you can do that for me.
Thank you so
my
very
point
much.
of emphasis is we need to know our country before we explore out. Now, when you go to England, a lot more people would do staycation, especially, you know, the word actually came during the credit crunch in 2008 when there was a crunch and people were tightening and looking at the essentials. They took the bold step of knowing their country. We are not very good at knowing our country. And I feel that it's becoming sensational for people to say they're going to Dubai, which I have no problem with. But do you know Axim? Know that, then you can actually explore out. That's what I'm saying. Thank you.
All right. Frank, do you think that aviation and tourism policies support your business, you and your members?
Not at all. Not at all.
Frank, they are here. Tourism is here. Aviation is here. Speak your mind.
Yes, I've been listening to Prof, and I do appreciate the fact that we must know more than 3 regions in Ghana. But I must say that compared to what Sylvia was saying about Dubai and why most Ghanaians travel to Dubai mostly than even doing domestic travels. Domestic travels are even more expensive, I must say, when you are doing the costing. Even the hotels here are very, very expensive. To even rent a car to travel to Kumasi or to go to Cape Coast, I run a car rental, and across board, it's more than $100. And to just do even transfers at the airport, one time I just decided to do some, shopping myself. I arrived in Accra, and I hopped into these taxis at the airport. And I was surprised they were charging almost $60 to just drop me off at Achimota. And I was like, just one way. Yeah, I mean, in cities, compared like 600 cities. Today's money, 600 cities, yeah. So I was like, wow. And it would take you like just $30 or $40 to do airport transfer in Dubai to your hotel, mostly like around the main city center. So I think that there is lack of infrastructure and we don't have too much competition. People who have the facilities just overcharge. People are putting in new hotels. Ghana must be very happy. Accra is coming out with more skyscrapers. Accra is coming out with more restaurants, which is good. But it's still expensive. So you realize that in summer or during the Easter break, like Val's Day, people can just go to Dubai, have a whole package for like $1,500 or $1,600, ticket, package, hotel, visa, and everything. But that same money, right? He can't stay a week in Accra or in Ghana. Go to Axim. You mentioned Axim. This wonderful Blue Moon resort is so expensive. So I think that government should look at price control. And if we can do something about it, it will help our domestic tourism a lot, because sometimes it's even tiring being on the aircraft for so long. When you can just have the weekend staycation, you said, and we are good to go. So we are ready to sell domestic tourism. But when you compare it to doing international tourism, you're not close to it. Everybody is complaining Ghana is expensive. I mean, we see December, but they are complaining behind the scenes, even though they love the people. It's the people they love, not really the facilities. Thank you.
However, what can we do to bring down the cost so that at least they can sell?
In a democratic, very market-driven country, you can't do price control. The world governors of democracy will come after you. So you definitely cannot do price control. But I suppose there are things you can do to enhance or improve, the competitiveness, i.e. the infrastructure that you talk about. Now, can we put up infrastructure in order that it can attract a lot of investors into the market? But the most important also is growing local businesses, not that much international, but local businesses. So if, for example, I know you have Avis, you have Hertz here, for example. But if we can get, local rentals that actually have the capacity, because usually you have one-man business, not enough money to actually have a fleet in order that you can actually benefit from scale, because the economies of scale definitely will reduce, how much you're actually charging. But we do not have those capacities. So for example, if we can have some kind of interventions to grow local businesses, perhaps we can actually be competitive in terms of the pricing. But also is attitude, a lot of, let me dare to say, a lot of Ghanaians do not innovate, and they put all their expectation of wealth on one thing, and so they hike up prices. Having been in the front line, from campus to the front line now, I tend to think that we don't like newness, like coming with new ideas that can actually make us perhaps, be competitive in terms of creating a niche, etc. And so most people build businesses and they're putting all their profit expectation on one. So it makes them hike up prices, for example. You can prove me wrong, but I think these are some of the observations that I have. If we're innovative, if we're dare to be different, we have to adapt technology. Perhaps we can actually reduce those wealth expectations and then be competitive.
Frank, in your business, you have one foot of the airlines. You have another foot of tourism. What must we do? Or let me talk about them. What must tourism sector and aviation sector to do to ensure that you are properly integrated into the system and that the travel and tour consultants and agent business grows?
Thank you. I think there's lack of consultation, as we travel practitioners have been a bit left out for some time now.
Sorry, is that how travel practitioners feel like? The travel and tour agents here. Is that how you feel like? Oh, speak up. Is that how you feel like? They say you've left them out, Reverend and Madam.
Yes.
And Prof, they say you've left them out.
So, So I must say that recently I just heard in the news that a new national carrier is being formed. And I've been asking myself and my colleagues that, I mean, how can we not know about this? And we are the ones that are going to be filling this aircraft. Obviously, I mean, we do about 80% of sales to all airlines coming. It's a good initiative to have a national carrier. But I think that to answer your question, tourism is an intentional thing. Government must be very intentional about it. If you look at the taxman chasing all of us here and there, and we hardly get tax holidays because the service that we are providing. Recently, I was speaking to someone from GRA, and they are already thinking of charging VAT on our commissions. I was like, really? I mean, this is not dead. I mean, internationally, IATA doesn't accept that. So it's too much cost built up in doing business in the tourism sector. And I think that if the airline and the tourism sector can integrate and do the same thing, there should be a cut of expenditure across board in both sides. So one of the things to boost tourism is a national carrier, honestly. Emirates has an upper hand because it's a national carrier, and that's why Dubai progresses. Dubai is Dubai because I feel it's Emirates. Emirates is bringing passengers all across everywhere in the world to Dubai. If Accra, or should I say Kumasi, should be able to be a tourism hub, we need a national carrier. We can't always give it out. Our foreign exchange is all going every day. It's not staying. So even our foreign currencies, our city is not being able to challenge these foreign currencies where government keeps pumping, which is not going to last. So I think that the national carrier issue is a big deal. We need to be stakeholders in it. We need to also provide our quota to let you know what we can do to support and what should be done and done rightly. But I feel that government should be intentional to help with tax breaks. Government should be able to provide some respite, like somebody building a hotel must get some incentives, you know. But if the person uses his own money, borrows from the bank, and does all the building, expects to reap all his profits in just 5 years, which cannot happen. All over the world, all those people who have built big hotels are not recouping just in 5 years but the reason why they are stable is that they got cheap loans, lower interest rates to be able to do all these things. Yeah.
Suffice it to say that your concerns are well noted, and the task force that has been put in place to handle the national carrier, we do have a stakeholders plan, and I believe that you'll be brought on board. So it is not a done deal. You will be engaged rightly, but where we are now, that is not in that particular phase. So we have the stakeholder plan that we would definitely bring very key stakeholders of your kind on board so that you help shape the way forward. Thank you.
Let's talk about something we were watching here. We saw a video of Airports Company talking about some upcoming projects. If you can tell us about some of those upcoming projects and possibly how you intend to fund it.
All right. Thank you, Dominic. So I think the video has rolled out, but just to touch on it a bit, we are looking at connecting Terminal 2 to Terminal 3. Some of these projects that were on the video has already started, such as the runway overlay. We started that March of last year. We are funding-wise, the runway overlay, all those projects that have started, it's internally generated funds from Ghana Airports Company. So that's the ones that have already started. Connecting Concourse to connect Terminal 2 to Terminal 3. Currently, when passengers arrive, for instance, if someone arrives from Kumasi and wants to catch a flight to Dubai or to England, they would have to necessarily come out of the terminal, push their trolleys, their luggage, under the elements of the weather. It is not secure. You have to go back and check in. All of that is inconvenient for the passenger. And so we want to connect Terminal 2 to Terminal 3 by a concourse. This concourse will also have jet bridges, passenger boarding bridges connecting directly to aircrafts, to the airlines. So it will have 5 passenger boarding bridges, 3 earmarked for Terminal 2 and 2 additional ones to add to the 6 already in Terminal 3. We also have, as I mentioned, the runway overlay, which is 30 years old. We necessarily have to improve it because it had quite a number of cracks and it was not ICAO compliant. And so we have to improve it. We have started that already. We are decongesting Terminal 3. Many of you know that during the peak hours, between 6 to 10 p.m., we have a lot of flights coming through, arriving. And so the terminal is quite congested. So in a bid to decongest and also to utilize and maximize the space that is lying fallow at Terminal 2, we have to move some of the international airlines. And we moved these international airlines not because we're picking on them to move, but we used the slot allocations and which airlines arrive around the same time to decongest. So if you're an airline that operates during the day there is not much congestion. We wouldn't have to move you. It is the airlines that operate within the peak periods that we have to decongest and move some to Terminal 3. I know there's been a lot of questions. Why me? Why this airline and why me? And so that's the reason behind the moving of some of the airlines to decongest the terminal. And this is a policy directive as well. We have our sewage treatment plant, which is 25 years old, and it has outlived its purpose. And so that is also a project that has to be rolled out. The Northern Apron, currently we have parking bays for our aircrafts or our airlines arriving, and some of them have to, sometimes we'll move you to one gate, another time we'll move you to another gate, like we share. Their gates are not enough. And so we have a project that is going to put 10 parking bays for aircrafts. And this is directly benefiting the airlines as well. On the regional front, we have Bolgatanga Airport, which will be rolling out, which is a greenfield project. We also have Sunyani Airport, which currently, if I should say, is not very fit for purpose because both arrival and departure is in the same space, and that is not fit for purpose. So we have to build a new terminal. The runway is too short in Sunyani. Runway is 1.4 kilometers. And so only propellers can land on that runway. And that makes only Passion Air able to land. So if we are going to lengthen the runway at Sunyani to allow for other domestic airlines to also land. This also has ripple effects, because the more we open the domestic and make more domestic airlines able to connect to the regions, the less the cost of the tickets will be, because there will be competition. So that will be less cost. So we're doing all these things to be able to position Ghana to become the hub that we want it to be. You asked about funding. The government has rolled out and has passed into law the Airport Infrastructure Development Charge, which was passed, I believe, in December. And this is what is going to sit under the Ministry of Transport and in an escrow account. I believe His Excellency the President mentioned in one of his speeches at WA that the AIDC, which is the Airport Infrastructure Development Charge, is going to be a fund which we would be using for all these projects that I've mentioned.
So the AIDC is not going to sit under Airport Company?
No.
But it's government money?
Yes.
That will sit with Ministry of Transport?
Under the Ministry of Transport. The law was passed under the Ministry of Transport. And so this sits in an escrow account, Government of Ghana, under the Ministry of Transport.
Okay. One question I would like to ask you. I think the airlines will be interested in knowing.
if you are moving me from T3 to T2 because you want to decongest, are you assuring me that Terminal 2 will be so cool like Terminal 3? Or what do you think?
Yes.
It should be so cool like Terminal 3, otherwise you won't go.
I actually agree. I agree with you in the so-coolness of the thing. And trust us, it will be Soko Pro Max. It will be, rest assured. We've spent a lot of money and we are going to be changing how the whole place looks, both arrivals. We are currently at the departures stage. We're changing the entire departures from ceiling to flooring to everything, all the equipment. We're going to be bringing in 3D analogic scanners for the, thank you very much, for the baggage screening. So passengers wouldn't have to now take out things like liquids, water, because, yes. And DG is here. We have also asked that we repeal the passengers taking off their shoes. Yes, because we are in 2026. We need to enhance our passenger experience. And all these things are inconvenient. There are some airports that you go that you don't have to remove your shoes. So why do we have to do that in Ghana? We need to get with the times and with the program. And so we are fully on board. Airlines, passengers, our priority. We will do everything that we have to do to make sure that Ghana has the experience, so that even if we are charging these taxes, the experience and the facility will make up for it. And I believe that if we see what the money is going towards, people often have a problem when money is being charged, but they are not seeing what the money is going towards. But if Ghanaians see that this charge, this is the facility that's up there now. The runway is finished, Terminal 2 is done, the connecting concourse is done, and there's evidence of that, I think it will go easier with our citizenry.
The AIDC charge, is it in perpetuity or has a sunset clause?
It has a sunset clause of 10 years.
10 years?
Yes.
So after which we will stop charging?
Yeah, well, once all the projects that are lined up in the budget is done, there wouldn't be a need to charge it anymore.
Okay.
No.
Reverend, Madam said you are going high-tech. No removal of shoes, 3D scanners. Are you aligned?
It's not just as GC alone. We have the National Aviation Security with the type of scanners that will be in place. You don't even have to remove your computers and what have you. Yes. Even if you want to go through as a human being, we'll allow you to go through. But that is just on the lighter side. But we are also paying attention to good technology that also helps the passenger facilitation through our various airports, bearing in mind international best practices. And so that the same feel you have somewhere else, why can't we replicate it here? And so everything is being done without compromising on safety and security. So that is the minimum that we're looking at, that whatever convenience should not be at the expense of security. But once the architecture and other things are in place, we believe that we can let some of these things be moved on in terms of the shoe removal. Once what it takes to detect, and we can't say all things in the open space, but we will not do anything to make it not secure. And so these requests is being received and processed accordingly. Thank you.
Competitively, we are on the expensive side, and that's a fact that cannot be concealed. But experience-wise, we are also on the top side. And that's also a fact that cannot be concealed. Yes. Yes, but the experience, and as a traveler myself, as an avid traveler myself, the experience is more important. How you treat someone from the aircraft till the person touches down, so the kind of reception the person receives through immigration, through customs, through luggage, the time that they wait, all of that counts for the passenger experience. And so that's where I keep harping on Ghana Airports Company, because that's what is in my domain. A lot of people think immigration, because you work in the airport, you work under Ghana Airports. And not all agencies work under the airports company. But what is in my domain, I keep harping on, let us elevate the the passenger experience. That is what will make up for any of the other excesses that we are not able to overcome. Thank you.
All right.
You know, travel agencies, we sell tickets. We are about 70%. We sell airline tickets over 70%. And then the airport tax, the AIDC, $100, I think is too expensive and must be reduced. At least if it's about $50, because the corporates complain too much about our fares. Travelers complain, and we find it so difficult to add up the $100. So if something can be done.
What will make this different for Ghana? What makes this decision think that you will defy the gravity according to the studies? Number two, yes, that it will bring not a zero sum, but it will actually bring benefit, because you increase the tax, you affect the demand side of the business, and you may impact the supply side. If the demand side of the business is affected, airlines may affect the supply side. So all the gains you are getting there are lost. They neutralize the incremental fee. I want to give you one example. In neighboring Sierra Leone, which is ranked top of the charts in terms of these fees, we fly as Kenya Airways to Sierra Leone, and when Sierra Leone introduced the fees, you know what happened? Since we also fly to Monrovia, our numbers for Monrovia have gone very up. Our numbers for Sierra Leone have gone down. And you know what passengers are doing? They're crossing the border using road transport. They buy the ticket in Liberia, and they negate the $360 fee. So the question is, what will be the reaction from the consumer on these fees? Are we creating a conduit where the neighboring countries could be benefiting from such a decision? Thank you.
All right. Just as my colleague has said, we plead with you. The $100 is too much. There are researches that have been done, and we have seen passenger hopping. You know, Ghana is a very small country. It's very easy for someone to get to Togo. It's very easy for someone to get to Abidjan and take their flight from there. So we anticipate that once it is implemented, you will definitely see a change in passengers departing from Ghana. You will see a change also for dated December. I know Ghana Tourism Authority and other bodies did a lot to make sure that we have dated December. But to tell you the truth, leisure travelers, and I'm one of them, you know, you wake up in the morning, You look at where there is visa free or the visa fees is less and it's easy to get. You look at the flight prices and you book your holiday to go there. And as a family, and I said that in my previous letter, if I am traveling for Christmas with a family of 4, and the IADC charge is $100 per person return, that's already a $400 on top of my ticket. So how am I going to finance that? Not forgetting that we just introduced API PNR charge from 1st of February. So it's a very heavy burden on us, and of course it puts pressure on us as airlines because we don't know how to sell. It's going to be difficult for us to sell this year because of the incremental charges. And of course, the public doesn't look at it as, a charge from the government. They will imagine that we increased our fares. So we plead with you to look at that figure. We are not telling you to scrap it, but just look at it. And of course, I'll share something with you that you can probably consider. Thank you very much.
That she said it here as well in a lovely letter to you. We'll give you the letter. That if we can find other ways to spread the cost within the sector, it will help. So we'll go to the panelists and then we'll address this issue. One thing I must say is this. In Stella's submissions, she kept saying, we plead with you, we plead with you, we plead with you. But the truth is that operators, travel and tour consultants, we need to actually fight this in Parliament. We should have stopped it before it happened. It's not airport company that passed it. It's not civil aviation. They passed it in Parliament. You didn't know about it. It was passed in Parliament. So when it comes to regulator and then airport company, what they will say is that help us implement this. That's why the money doesn't sit with them. However, collectively, I think we can come together and find a common ground where we can probably articulate this. But of course, I'll hand over to Reverend to address.
As I'm sure all of us know, this law was passed in Parliament. The Minister for Finance mentioned this in his budget statement publicly to the Ghanaian citizenry. So it is not, Madam Yvonne should reduce it. It doesn't lie in my hand to that. It has to go back to Parliament. There are opportunities for that. There are mid-year reviews that, petitions can be made. And so that is the only way that it will have to go back to Parliament if that is the case. But let's not lose sight of the fact that I'm a firm believer that yes, though I don't make light of your petitions and your concerns and your appeals, I do not make light of it at all. However, the $100 component doesn't form the entire ticket. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that forms the entire ticket, which does not come to the government of Ghana. And so, in as much as, yes, you have a very legitimate concern, there is also another side that we often want to overlook and capitalize just on the $100 that is being added. Not to talk of if you're buying a business class ticket on any airline, it will go over $6,000. It can go $8,000, $10,000, $12,000 versus $100. Economy, maybe if you're lucky, $1,800, $1,600, $2,000, $2,200 if you're lucky, versus $100. And so I don't think that if we explain it well to our passengers who would be bearing this cost of what that $100 is going to, what it's going towards, that will stop Dirty December from happening in Ghana, or that will stop passengers from traveling to Ghana.
Prof will say not Dirty December, December and GH.
December December in GH. And as I said, if Ghanaians know that this is exactly what the money is going towards, and we see the edifices standing in front of us, we see the runway that has been done, we see all the things that we are saying that the money is going towards, we see it being done, then there is accountability. Then there is proof that we've used the money expeditiously, and it wouldn't be as much of a burden. Secondly, the experience. The experience has to be such that passengers will want to come here regardless. Lastly, there's a sunset clause. It is not in perpetuity. It ends at a certain point. And so these are all factors that we have to think about. And as I said, there is an opportunity for review. So I think that if we are to help to make the vision a reality, we necessarily have to roll out the law that has been passed, and when the opportunity comes for review, we take it up from there. Thank you.
So I guess, some of our airlines we're expecting will relocate. So it would be good to understand from a ground handler's perspective what the timeline is, because for us, we haven't had a huge amount of engagement yet. And there is, we would have to look at what infrastructure we need to put in place from a staffing, GSC perspective. Are we going to need to get extra buses? And how are we going to operate over there? So an idea of the timeline so that we can start working on that would be beneficial to us.
We're looking at maybe by mid-year, and so necessarily we would write to inform you and also inform the airlines that are moving from Terminal 3 to Terminal 2 so that you can prepare. There was a letter that went out which said March 31st. But as we are coming along, it's obvious that we are not quite there yet. And I wouldn't want to move any airline into a place that is not quite complete. Everything has to be completed, nice, sorted out before we move so that the experience is seamless. And so we're looking maybe mid-year. But we will communicate that to all the airlines and the ground handlers as well, so that you can prepare. Thanks for that question. So yes, the connecting concourse will have retail spaces. It will have space for duty-free. It will have about 4, if not 5, business class lounges. So all the lounges will be on the upper level with an escalator going up. And all the duty-free, the retail spaces, the restaurants, eateries, and what have you, would be on the lower level of the connecting concourse. So it will be 2 levels, but the upper level having the lounges. And so if any of the airlines are interested in owning, like how when we go out we see a BA lounge, Emirates lounge, KLM lounge, or you are welcome to submit your proposals. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. There's another question here, please. Oh, last?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Ernest from the Ministry of Tourism. My question is regarding the national airline. And me, I'm very passionate about the airline industry. I used to be a travel agent for 6 years before joining the ministry, so I'm really passionate about it, and I was excited when I heard that there's a possibility of a national airline happening. And I mean, in the past, we heard about these things before. We heard about it being in the pipeline and never happened. I remember we heard about the Ghana International Airlines thing that was short-lived. But I just want to find out if this thing should come into existence, what measures are in place to ensure that it will last long? It will be short-lived like the Ghana International Airlines did, or if maybe it will also be profitable and more Ghanaians will go for that option.
I will just urge you to hold your breath. As part of the communication and stakeholder engagement, you will find out exactly what it is that we are doing differently this time around, and that will give you the assurance. And also, like my daughter said, that we will have to be accountable. We will have to be accountable for what we say and what we're doing and what we're also using the public resources, because we can no longer run away from the tenets of accountability. And so the stakeholder engagement, the communication plan will spell out exactly what, when, how, and then you can measure whether what is rolled out there is something that is sustainable, will it be profitable, and then we'll take it from there. I don't want at this stage to jump the gun in terms of the communication that is supposed to come out there after the necessary approval and endorsement from government. Thank you.
We have to be prepared to shoulder some of the responsibilities. Now, you talk about China growing, and you are so excited. China locked themselves up for a number of years to get to where they are. You are not happy when you see them. Oh, China is growing. On the tourism platform, I see a lot of people in this country. But have you asked yourself how much of that responsibility you attribute to yourself and you're prepared to take? It's beautiful to go to Dubai. I'm not saying don't go to Dubai. But I'm saying, are you proud that you don't even know your own country? Yes, we talk about, I'm a consummate marketer. I always talk about marketing and say demand knows citizenship, knows no patriotism. But you also have to ask yourself whether consumerism alone is good for your welfare. You can say you have your money, you decide where you want to go, yes, but you will come back to the same country that you don't like, that you despise. So for every international tour that you undertake, please do 3 domestic tours to offset your guilt. Yes, because we have to develop this country. Nobody will do it for you. Thank God the president says, no more begging international community. We have to build our own country. If you have to pay the $100, and as Yvonne said, and you can see the infrastructure, why not? We saw Terminal 3 one night, and we're all happy. I have had a privilege to see Terminal, the T2, because we went for inspection. I couldn't believe it. You're doing a good job. Thank you for that. But let us all be responsible in developing this country. 1 international trip, 3 domestic tourism trips, please, in this year. Thank you so much for that.
1 Dubai, 1 Aqua Safari, 1 Safari Valley Resort, 1 Lumun.
And I just at times threw a question at myself that how would Kotoka International Airport be without Terminal 3? I just began to wonder that will Terminal 2, no matter how you beautify it, whether you put a new carpet, it will still never be what it ought to be. So we are very grateful that we are seeing some major infrastructural development facilities, making it better. It is coming at a cost, but a day and a time is coming that we will say that it was worth it, because what we experienced does not compare with what we had to go through. So let us bear with one another. We will receive the love letter, being a very open government agency, and also by extension under a very listening ministry and government as a whole. We will look at it very dispassionately. Where there are need to make very important changes, it has been done before and is capable of being done again. And let us also embrace the call to together increasing the awareness, not just about the charge, but the benefit and the purpose that is giving rise to all that is happening. And together we will ensure that our industry, our various organizations, the airline, are sustainable. And I believe that nothing will go down
things will rather go up. The numbers will go up.
So the aviation breakfast meeting, no, near to say aviation and travel money, you go for Pierre Dijumo. Until your muna ba, dine back. Near discuss near who issues are air battle. Quite be fast where I saw in Sama Rubiano. Now you're starting in 2017. Now to my COVID time in Brikika can have some view. And they say, your course on the say, Ghana, you're going to some aviation, tourism, transport generally, no. You're better than policy wise, no. I found the senior Shembra, at the Bohobra, infrastructure, senior Yama war from Tier, and the other, you're better na SCP, senior Beya. A man for Baha, one beji. Go for to come about my muha, one beji. Sanya Maya, no snow, as here you who say, Yene, and go for West Africa, air compete. Senegal is now on channel, the airport where I can see in the tourism sector or Yeni Togo and the Ask Airlines, why I can see our music on Grap and last piece. Nigeria soon channel, or more year other deals, air common, Yenden ye. Intendano. Yadi na buy near be discuss here senior be Ghana Airport Company or airport in Samso Civil Aviation Authority papano on a regulator or the Bank of Ghana ma aviation sector join the rules and regulations now setting in place no ye be hwe kwan ya be faswa ye bia beto to yi nearby out ne say travel and tour agents on twa ticket ma ye bre to kwan do kire say won mo no o manage adwuma no na so aya ye kansam ne apekwan bi so a industry be ko nanimu e tore bi inform kan obapa nti ye na agitu mu say se de mu ka ho afi so aban person de to bi ba ay aban to anya airport company Ghana Civil Aviation tour e to na aban person de ba na person de nyama ahrobe 5 ne din kan de say your terminal 2 ne terminal 3 se se ye wa ha de ukosi terminal 2 adi so opie film na atwe bag be se go terminal 3 also be so ye bridge bi as a dan bi a be connect terminal 2 ne 3 nti wura ofi terminal 2 mpo na akọ 3 a uhuzi wapie na sa concourse no be friend concourse obe ni mu no lounges room shops room ni ade ni na e ka ho bi nti na opeso ye no ye baako na tosumi no bakotoka airport ha opaches obe mo story car park at yaso asabansoro no na afi cars na ho na ho anche nti ko terminal 3 say ni na room say ya na ho ache beso mo story car park abema ho anche no bi etimi park wo kama anu so ye baako afi oda ne woni ko Sunyani airport so airport ni so runway just say bia plane is from obesi so no etia ntenye plane bia na tumi ko ho and Africa would ntumi ko ho just a passion ye because passion ye jet so here longer runway to land to say another nyama ode scan bi baye and so Sunyani airport no runway no obe na tintin so na bia planes akese so betumi akọ na dan na on so ebu en kese se na omo ye kumase de ye bi ana Bolga Tanga airport so be se omo si de foforo foforo kra bi ni ho traffic so osi waade no susa to be so discussion no e kese no around when tintin jeno ne aban se ode AIDS ni aviation infrastructure development charge o person ogigi no de ogigi scan de yes ade ni wi a mfi du ntem no o se be jaje because scan e chimponti a ogigi no wa achieve we na fe no an sada ban ne gas obe no prof mensa kan ne se yan ka asem go Dubai yan ka asem go Singapore yan ka asem go China na New York can say charity begins at home. Who baby a ufi. Into the say uko Dubai ba kwa. Omemu haso versus toys attraction me nsa. Ne dey no. 1 for 3. Into the uko Dubai ba ko bia oba ko Every Gardens. Ko Cinema Waterfall ko I show speed massage usu ko jibi. Uwia no akọ Safari Valley. Anu me nsa. Ana say u de tu kwan ko Singapore ba ko Nkrumah Museum ba ko Osu Castle ba ko. Na ko Jamestown Lighthouse baako sene e be ya yeso be hu ne memu because obese ye hu ye memu na afi ye pia bonten a ye culture ne ade no yeso de yakọ na manfo hu se Ghana will be general domestic tourism no almost expensive because of some of the cost involved and the thing is hotels no if you take a typical 4-star hotel hotel taxes are over 19 different taxes it's na ban ben say rationalize some of those taxes ebu akabom ebu ateso na kabom na ye baako na ye kokrowa kama Mpano koda Royal Century, koda Peninsula, or koda Bridge Viewer. Once any born were from on to Kanko baby. Nizika to Dubai, now how of war, or Baka for Hadian. And then you can say going forward, a bit me and Hojman baby.
This breakfast meeting is very important. It had all our stakeholders here, the airlines, the ground handlers, the travel and tour operators, those who sell our tickets. It also had representative from the Ministry of Transport. And so it's a broad stakeholder engagement in form of a breakfast meeting where we get to discuss our various plans, concerns, and how we implement and roll it out. So overall, it was a very productive meeting. As we all know, and as is human nature, no one wants to be charged more than what currently exists. But as also is the rule of thumb with life, everything that comes beautiful comes with a cost. Can we imagine if as the Director General had referred to, that if there was no Terminal 3, and if we were only going to be comfortable in Terminal 2 and we hadn't taken the pains to actually pay for Terminal 3 to come, how would Ghana's aviation have been? So we are at a time where we necessarily have to expand, and expansion comes with cost. And as I said at the forum, if the cost that is being rolled out, if the citizenry see the evidence of what the cost is going towards, if the buildings are up, the plans to put a connecting concourse between Terminal 2 to Terminal 3 so that passengers will not walk out in the open, push their trolleys in the open to connect between two terminals, which is not done anywhere in the advanced world. We want to also now bring that to Ghana, and all these things come with cost, which cost is painful. But at the end of it all, if we see what the cost has gone and what it has done, what it has gone to and what it has done, we will be happy for it, just like how we were very excited about the Terminal 3 edifice, which serves Ghana and has put Ghana ahead of our colleagues in the sub-region. And so this is what I can say. Statistically, the numbers between 2025 and 2024, because we've just ended 2025, so now we have the total passenger numbers that came through. 2024's total passenger numbers were 3.4 million passengers into Accra, in and out of Accra, both international and domestic. Now in 2025, we are at 3.625, and so there has been a significant increase in the passenger numbers, and the trajectory has grown since the COVID-19 pandemic, where we didn't have any passengers coming through. We have surpassed the pre-COVID numbers, so we are now at a good place, and this is why we have to introduce some of the expansions that we are introducing to accommodate the passenger numbers that are coming into Ghana.
What percentage of the 3-point-something is within Africa? I'm sure the number is the total.
The 3 into Accra. That's just into. I would have to refer to the data again to answer that question. Thank you.
The traditional foods are yedin starch and carbohydrates mu bebre. But true green food, yes, starch and carbohydrates no, and kids way be na womb, and very healthy. A booming who buy free yare to say diabetes, kidney failure, cholesterol, hypertension, cancer, and near kikaki. True green food or more breakfast options to say cocoa, Tom Brown, oatmeal, and near kikaki. True green food. Oh yes, our products now are 100% organic and natural. So we here be able to deliver my baby a
My chef and party planner. You know we can't get this retirement/birthday shindig go wrong.
Everything is almost ready, but small problem.
Why what's up?
We are way over budget, Kweku. Everything is almost twice the estimate.
Alibaba, okay? No worries. So with TapTapSend, I have got a cake and decorations covered from here. You handle the food. If any extra expenses comes up, just text me or call me. I'm off today, so I should be easily reachable.
Hey, Chairman, it is for day.
Hey, no be easy. You chairman has time and money.
Would you so
Allah, kweku tap tap, kweku do, kweku that.
Ah, chairman can they call you?
Hey, Alande, chairman send them.
Tap send. Papa no.
Hello, love.
Gary, do you have Mommy's parcel for her big day?
The shipping company says it will take 1 month.
A month? Ah, Gary, use Rapid.
Rapid?
Rapid courier ships from the United States to Ghana and 9 other African countries within 3 to 5 days. Log on to rapidgroup.com, buy, ship to us, and we deliver right to your doorstep.
That fast?
Yes, that's Rapid for you. Can you sign this?
I thought you only ordered Mommy's parcel.
No, I ordered a few car parts too.
Are you too busy to shop? We will shop for you. Rapid also has a luggage delivery service, so you can make that extra luggage and we will deliver at the lowest rate.
Rapid Courier. Just shop. We deliver. Enjoy.
Leave your family with love and dignity, not financial burden. With the Diaspora Funeral Cash Plan, no medicals are needed. Guaranteed acceptance. Cover yourself and loved ones globally. For diasporans and family back home, we offer immediate cash payout within 24 hours. Choose how you are remembered with our flexible covers: burial abroad, repatriation, or cremation. We cover 25 African nationalities living abroad. Protect yourself, protect your family, protect your dignity. Peace of mind guaranteed. Get your peace of mind today. Visit diasporainsurance.com, scan the QR code, or call the numbers on your screen.